roses flower. The boy recalls the face in that single hour when she smiled in his direction, whispered and said, "This prison is hell, pray for me while I put my wish in the well." She took the last piece of the crumb, ate it and wept. She made it to death, and the last quest just say that the rest of the prey teen, 18 with an urge to be seen. Classmates serving her mean remarks in this scene. Alone in the classroom, blocking the stairs with the desk, cornered by pupils not bearing the prayers of her chest. Finding words, curing a bookworm, letting fantasy loose, releasing this leech of the surrounding cancerous abuse. Refusing to lose this malnourished bookworm of flower. Cooking by power, she's finding strength from the prose to later be putting pen to the paper, quenching his rose. The petals, his chubby, the glasses reflect beauty when seen. The next verse will put you in the most beautiful scene, but its dandelion will become the head of the pack, rising from the concrete, not to be headed right back, learning to stand up for herself by beheading attacks. The thorns got clipped and the rose got watered down. Something comments about relief, but it's sort of frowned. She put the crumbs down, she refused to eat and sleep. Read and weep this flower, hungers for social contact. She tried to take her life, despite the vanity inside. It's insanity, right? But this flower reached the fall. The season called her away from cloud9 into heaven, and the boy still remember that September 11th. Every time when spring comes and the first roses flower, the boy recalls the face in that single hour when she smiled in his direction, whispered and said, "This prison is hell, pray for me while I put my wish in the well." The emotional combat came as a sudden impact, just when she wished her father's rubbers wasn't intact. This lonely scrawny boy, caught by your shy vision, the first smile in 3 years breached her mind prison. She was a fine Christian by the words from the book. This boy caught her eyes as a simple nerd, but a look observed by the crooks and bullies. She made a move, she sent a simple note that a bit later proved to improve. A week later, a shy boy called her house over the phone. Her father answered and the boy asked if she was home. She sat on her bed all alone, reading a scribbled journal. She answered and it brought light to this little inferno. The date was a fact and this week flower was blooming, but all the joy caused the low powers to be consuming. Even though the sun seemed to shine in her direction, she still had demons in her head from all the past neglection. A lack of love and affection from role models throttled. Even though he loved her dearly, she downed the whole bottle. She blacked out, fell to the floor, grasping for air. This frail girl was thought as the one lacking despair. She tried to take her life, despite the vanity inside. It's insanity, right? But this flower reached the fall. The season called her away from cloud9 into heaven, and the boy still remembers that September 11th when she smiled in his direction, whispered and said, "This prison is hell, pray for me while I put my wish in the well."